Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Only in Democrat-run California could something this batshit insane happen. Now, excuse my French, excuse the colorful language, especially to start off the video, but how else can you possibly describe it? This is a state that is just completely out of control. It's turned itself into the ultimate sanctuary for illegals and criminals, a state that's riddled with corruption and drowning in woke policies. And now we're learning just how bad it is, how deep the corruption goes. We're learning that California's DMV was simply handing out commercial driver's licenses to anybody and everyone, even non-citizens, you know. And not only non-qualified people, but literal non-citizens. Individuals who clearly have no business being behind the wheel of a semi-truck. And now, of course, it's resulted in disaster. Disaster has struck. Innocent Americans have died. And with all the revelations now coming to light showing that Democrats, or Democrat incompetent governance, is at the core of all of it, the question is, what do Democrats do? Do they take accountability? Nope, of course not. They're deflecting, they're lying, and trying to pin the blame on President Trump. We spoke briefly about that yesterday. But now it's blowing up in their faces even more as the truth is starting to find its way to the light. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on in insane, woke California. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so I guess you could say case in point. I want to start off with this viral video that's bouncing all over the internet right now. We've got a very bizarre clip which seems to be filmed right outside the California DMV. We've got a Sikh presenter here congratulating two, they appear to be Indian military-age men with two new CDL licenses, or commercial driver's licenses.
एक्सपीरियंस भी है अंकल ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਮਝਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਮਜ਼ਾਕ 'ਚ ਸਮਝਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਵਧੀਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਜੀ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੋਈ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਟੁੱਟੀ ਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਆਪਣਾ ਪਾਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਹੀ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੌਖੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਿੱਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਅੰਕਲ ਨਾਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰੋ ਫਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਪਾਸ ਕਰਾ ਦੇ ਜੀ ਅੰਕਲ ਨੇ ਅੰਕਲ ਗ੍ਰੇਟ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਚ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਆ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ
And oddly enough, it seems as though they don't even speak English. Now, of course, we don't know every single detail of these individuals. We don't know their qualifications or their language proficiency, but the conversation here is not about this particular video, it's about the concept at large. And I'll tell you, my suspicions relating to this video, well, I think they're valid. California seems to just be handing out these CDLs like candy. Can't speak English, no visa, no passport, no problem. Here's the license, now get in the truck, you're officially qualified and ready to drive. Completely batshit insane. And actually, let me elaborate a little bit on my suspicion of this video. My suspicion is that this little clip that I've played for you is part of a much wider ranging fraud scheme that Gavin Newsom doesn't want you to know about. For those of you guys who aren't aware, California's DMVs have been embroiled in massive fraud schemes relating to CDLs for a pretty long time here. Look at this from November 22nd, 2022. California CDL fraud scheme, that's 20 convictions. We saw another 2 convictions just recently in 2024 as well. You know, obviously this issue is a little bit more widespread. And also just understanding the culture, I think I've mentioned this before, but one of my best friends growing up is actually of Sikh heritage. And so I have a pretty personal connection. And let me tell you, when it comes to visa scams and license scams, or let's say medical passport scams, you know, and such, well, in some shape or form, the Sikhs and the Indians, they're involved. And so it really wouldn't surprise me, just like with student visas, if there was a massive fraud ring connected to India, bringing all kinds of workers in, either illegally or legally, and engaging in all kinds of fraud in the process, especially engaging in fraud when it comes to issuing licenses. There's probably these logistical pipelines that stack up all these working class people and they work with agencies in the United States, bringing them through, then either getting them to work through the agency as a proxy, or just straight up illegal immigration and straight up fraud, getting them illegal licenses like in this case. And so clearly there's a problem, and clearly the problem is happening in California. And now we're seeing the consequences. I mean, we just saw it, Harjinder Singh pulling a reckless illegal U-turn on Florida's Turnpike, blocking traffic and killing 3 instantly. Well, that tragedy is now directly tied to California's broken standards, California's corruption and broken system. And of course, here's where we get to Gavin Newsom, because what did he do immediately? Like I showed you guys, does he admit that California's license system is a disaster? Nope, of course not. No, he blames Donald Trump. We all saw this pathetic little graphic. I showed this to you yesterday. He entered in 2019 when Trump was president, therefore it's Trump's fault. Somehow it's President Trump's fault in 2018 that this guy got a CDL in California issued on a state level when Joe Biden was president. Let's get to the fact check here. I'm laughing, but honestly, I shouldn't be laughing because Gavin Newsom is just such a scumbag and such a liar. It's not even funny, frankly. It's just malicious and wrong. Again, sociopathic behavior. But anyways, Governor Newsom's little press office post, we saw it. Well, the Trump administration now chimed in and responded directly. We've got this from Trisha McLaughlin. She writes, false. Harjinder Singh is in the United States illegally, and his work authorization was actually rejected under the Trump administration on September 14th, 2020, and it was later approved under the Biden administration on June 9th of 2021. Also, the state of California issues commercial driver's licenses. There is no national CDL. In other words, Gavin Newsom's the biggest piece of you-know-what known to mankind. And if anything, President Trump actually almost prevented this very easily preventable tragedy. His administration was trying to get rid of this guy. And we're actually now learning that he was on the list for deportation, but right before his deportation, he actually saw a judge and he told the judge that he was scared to go back to India.
Got a little bit of background on this guy from DHS this morning. Crossed the California border illegally, 2018. Border Patrol arrested him. He claimed fear of going back to India, and he was released on a $5,000 immigration bond. At some point, the state of California gave him a commercial truck driver's license.
Apparently that's all it takes to get an asylum claim these days. And so, most likely, a rogue Democrat judge allowed him to stay in the country. Then Joe Biden's administration handed him work authorization. Governor Gavin Newsom then handed him an illegal commercial driver's license. And so basically, Democrats and their activist judges got in the way of Donald Trump doing the right thing. And then their idiotic policies and non-existent standards led to a horrifying tragedy, and we now have 3 Americans dead. More Democrat Party fallout, and really the most atrocious part is the Democrat response. The fact that these Democrats' first instinct is to lie, to scapegoat, it tells you all that you need to know. This party is not just filled with incompetence, but frankly, they're malicious incompetence. They'll wreck the system, they'll cause all kinds of damage, and then gaslight the public and point fingers at anybody but themselves.
These guys are not screwing around. The rules do not apply to them. The most corrupt president in history. He doesn't believe in free enterprise, crony capitalism. He is wrecking this country, wrecking the economy. He's a lawless president. Wake up, America.
But in this case, I think the truth is clear. Their corruption, their incompetence, their idiotic policies, their sanctuary city insanity just killed another 3 Americans, and no amount of sleazy Gavin Newsom spin can ever change that. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.